Hey everyone, it's Ashley, and today we're talking about, again, taking better photos, and that's going to lead into what I would call a variety or moving. So let's start with some photos I took of Pastor Kuhn during the teaching today. So this is my standard shot. It's just he's facing this way, I'm taking the photo this way. And so while that is great, and it has that depth of field, like it's blurry in the background, it's important to get a variety of shots and not just get the same one every single time, but just in case the graphic team can use more, or maybe someone is speaking, we want multiple shots of the same thing from different angles. So let's look at that. So next up, it's still Pastor Kuhn, but he is now in a horizontal position. So previously, this is called vertical, so it's up and down, it's longer that way, and then horizontal is longer left and right. So both of those are super important. Again, it's really going to help the graphic team with whatever process they use to determine if they need one or the other. So both are super important. And next up, another one of Pastor Kuhn, but I like this because this goes into motion. It's still talking about variety, but it's important because whenever we're taking photos, we want to show that something is alive. And so whenever Pastor Kuhn or whoever has movement and they're pointing at something, they're expressing, they have a lot of passion about something, take the photo, take multiple photos at a time in case we miss it. So it's super important to do that as well. Next up, now I'm taking the photo from the back of the congregation. I like this because we see that it's not just pastor speaking, there's people listening and they're engaged. I think this is an important photo as well. And so again, this is different because we're no longer to the side of pastor, we're now looking at the rest of what's going on. And so now we're getting an even wider shot. So this would be called a tight shot, and as we're moving on, we see it's getting wider. We see more of what's going on in the frame. And I go back actually to show a point that while this is that same angle of it's the side of him, it's a wider shot because we see more of what's going on in the photo. We notice that there's an American flag. We notice that people are listening, or we notice there's a plant there now. So keep in mind wider and tighter shots. It's important to have variance in those as well. Now I wanted to show this photo because whenever we're taking photos of the praise team, now I understand they're not up there. I wasn't taking photos at that time because I was on the platform, but it's important to take this close-up of them and not just always from the back. It's important to get singles of people, so focusing on one person, because if we don't have a subject, something that we're focusing on, there's no real point to take the photo. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Next up, we're talking about this different angle right here. So this is pastor, but from the front. Again, super important that we have variance in the photos, because if we're just taking the same photo of him from the side, there's not really any reason people would be intrigued, because if we're sharing the same photo every Sunday or whatever day we share them, it doesn't really grab people's attention. So it's super important to grab stuff from the middle of the aisle is what I'm speaking about. So again, still the middle aisle, but now we go from horizontal to vertical. Super important, and I can't recommend it enough. You need to get both if you can. So while this isn't the best shot, I wanted to share again, a different perspective. So he's walking somewhere, not that we need to take photos of people walking, but this was to share that I'm at a different part of the congregation. I'm on the left side if you're viewing it from where I'm at. And again, same back left area, but now it's a vertical. I'm okay with this shot only because he's in the focus of it, but with our specific camera lens that we have right now, it does not zoom. We have to be the one to move. So it's super important to get close-ups of pastor when we can, but also, as I mentioned, wider shots as well. This is a different angle, of course. Again, still the side of him, but I typically sit on the right side in church, as you might know, but it's important to take photos from the left side as well, and we often don't see that. And again, we go from horizontal to vertical, super important. When it comes to taking photos of the praise team, we have musicians, and that's also important to get pictures of them. So typically we have Pam playing the organ, and we have Kevin playing as well. If they're playing or worshiping, it's important to take photos of that. Now, I took this photo because the praise team will typically be in this area, so remember, don't always take photos of the whole team. Take pictures of individual people, whether it's horizontal or vertical. We need to do both. We need to have a subject. I took this photo because, again, it's important to have a subject during the praise team. I wasn't focusing on Pastor Kuhn, but again, try to get closer when you're taking pictures of the praise team, because typically we'll see the praise team as a whole instead of individuals, and I really want us to focus on getting photos of each person on the praise team. I'll go into another lesson later, but it's important to capture people with action. All right, that was the lesson today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you watched this video, just leave a like or a comment down below. I appreciate you watching this. Have a good Sunday.